Our children now. Free our children now. Free our children now. Rescue them all in time. Free Nigerian children now. Free Nigerian children now. Free Nigerian children now.
We begin today with what's trending. The sound of thousands of Nigerian voices rising together through the streets of Abuja, united by one unbearable truth. Our children are still in the forest, our teachers are still in captivity, and their government has met their suffering with silence. Hear the voices.
We are here because of the situation of our country. We are here because the situation in Nigeria is the worst of all the countries surrounding us today. Greatest Nigerian people, we are here as a rehearsal for what might become the final push for a revolution in this country. Yes. We are asking that Tinubu, with immediate effects, go and rescue the children who were kidnapped from their schools across the country and get them released immediately. Exactly.
Omoyele Sowore, activist, publisher, and one of Nigeria's most recognizable voices of dissent, led a mass protest through the federal capital on Thursday, and what unfolded on those streets was more than a demonstration. It was a declaration, a nation telling its leadership, we have waited long enough.
Because that is what he imposed himself on Nigerians to do, and from which we shall never allow him to come back again in this country. Do you want Tinubu to come back again?
No.
Tinubu must go.
Tinubu must go.
Tinubu must go. Tinubu must go. Tinubu must go. So
crowds chanted, Tinubu must go, and bring back our children, as they moved through Abuja's roads toward the presidential villa, where they were met by a formidable wall of armed soldiers. Heavy security had descended on the villa, a government deploying its military not against terrorists raiding schools and forests across the north, but against its own citizens marching peacefully on tarmac. Let that sink in. Sowore addressed the crowd with the kind of language that does not apologize for itself. He reminded everyone present that this march was not spontaneous emotion. It was, in his words, a rehearsal for what might become the final push for revolution in this country. He called on President Tinubu to order the immediate rescue of the abducted students and teachers from Oyo State and across the nation, describing the president's continued inaction as an abdication of the very responsibility he imposed on Nigerians by seeking power.
So, this march is to herald the release of those children. And it's going on all over the country. This is the Abuja version. We actually had gone to the villa, but they put soldiers in large numbers. It's not as if we cannot push the soldiers aside. Yes. But we decided that because it's a peaceful process, we will not have any confrontation with the soldiers or police. Otherwise, they are nothing before the people.
At all, they are nothing.
When people take over streets, when people take over streets, all the oppressors.
When asked about the heavy military presence at the presidential villa, Sowore was characteristically unbothered. He told reporters, and I quote, "It's not as if we cannot push the soldiers aside, but we decided that because it's a peaceful process, we will not have any confrontation with the soldiers or police. Otherwise, they are nothing before the people. When the people take over the streets, every oppressor runs." The crowd erupted in response. Because Sowore understands something that many politicians have forgotten. There is no crowd control strong enough to contain a people whose children are missing. Now let us be precise about what this protest is actually demanding, because the crisis at the heart of it deserves to be stated with full clarity. It is now more than 3 weeks since students and teachers were abducted from a school in Oyo State. In that time, one teacher has been killed in captivity. Another died while being held by his abductors. The remaining students and teachers are still out there, somewhere in a forest, while government delegations hold meetings and issue statements about forest guards, for children stolen from their classrooms in broad daylight. Sowore's protest is therefore not an act of political theater. It is the physical expression of a country that has run out of patience and run out of faith that its government understands what is actually being asked of it. The ask is not complex, it is not diplomatic, it is 5 words: bring our children back home, And if the protest in Abuja were not enough to illustrate just how deep this crisis runs, consider what else emerged this week. A video circulated from northwest Nigeria showing a former APC chairman of Kokobes local government area in Kebbi State, an elderly man, filmed in a forest camp surrounded by his abductors. Exhausted, visibly distressed, seated on the ground. In the footage, the former party chairman lamented what he described as abandonment. He said plainly, "You can see the humiliating condition we are subjected to in this place. Please help us in the name of God." He added that he and his associate were living alongside reptiles and snakes, that he had nearly been bitten 2 days before the video was recorded, and that their health was collapsing rapidly. This video was not hidden. It was filmed deliberately, distributed deliberately, and broadcast deliberately. Because these terrorists are not hiding, they are confident. They film their captives. They issue their demands openly. And that brazen confidence, that willingness to put a former party chairman on camera pleading for his life without a trace of fear of consequence, that is the most disturbing detail of all. It tells you exactly what the people doing this believe about the Nigerian state's capacity to stop them. Our analysts this morning put it clearly. The problem is not just the scale of mass kidnappings from schools and institutions that dominate headlines. It is also the quiet, relentless accumulation of cases happening in every corner of the country. The sister of a former minister of power abducted in Oyo State, students taken in Zamfara, children abducted by a driver in Minna, Niger State, toddlers who do not yet know their left from their right, still in captivity. One person in captivity, as was said this morning, is one person too many. Nigeria currently has hundreds. Sowore's protest is therefore not about one activist's frustration with a sitting president. It is about a country refusing to normalize what should never be normalized. It is about Nigerians choosing defiance over resignation, choosing to march rather than to mourn quietly. The demand is the same as it has always been. It is the same demand the president himself made with considerable force during a previous administration. Secure lives and property or leave power. That standard does not expire. It does not become inconvenient because the one who set it is now the one being measured by it. Sowore will march again. The protests, he says, will continue to be nationwide until every child is home, every teacher is accounted for, and this government answers the question Nigerians have been asking since May 15th. Where are our children, and what exactly are you doing to bring them back?